Hello, hello, hello. Welcome one and all. This is Drawing Expressions, streaming live here on YouTube. So glad that you're here. Thank you for being part of the creative writing experience, for making this part of your creative journey. And I hope you'll hang out with me and do some creative writing, do some stuff. Okay. Before we start to get into that, let us first do, hi Celeste, how are you? So the first thing I want to address is that normally Alicia is running, she's moderating chat and whatnot. She's not today, she is watching, but she is not moderating chat. The reason being that there was an unfortunate confluence of fireworks, cats, a calendar, and a computer. And in the end, what happened is that the computer inadvertently took the Death Plunge Challenge of 2025, and it plunged. And you can probably fill in the rest from the name of the challenge, the Death Plunge Challenge. So we'll be fixing that shortly. In the meantime, I'm running solo here. So, hey, how you doing? So anyways, yeah. We're still going to do the same stuff. We're going to hang out. We're going to do some writing and things. And so let me just kind of get straight into it here. So the things to know, and really aside from my lovely lady love, who is sort of on the sidelines. She's watching, not running the back end. Good to see you both, Celeste. See us both, yes. The other thing to know is that guidelines bend. We don't do rules here, we do guidelines. So everything that I say, take it with a grain of salt. If it works for you, great. If it doesn't, that's fine too. Okay. I say that every single time, and I feel the need to explain it every single time. Don't ask why. Okay. The class structure. This has not changed for 2025. The planners and the pantsers. The planning today, we're going to be working on bringing in things into the new year. I'm going to avoid saying the word resolutions. We're just going to talk about bringing things into the new year. And then in the pantser section, I actually ran into a really cool article, and it's going to relate to bringing stuff into the new year, which I want to share, and I think it's going to be enlightening. Okay. With all of that said, let's move into our breathing and stretching, get our bodies and minds ready for doing some creative writing stuff. Okay, so what I like to do is square breathing, so I'm going to invite you to take a deep breath in. Here we go. Breathing in. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and hold. 2, 3, 4, 5. Exhale. 2, 3, 4, 5, and hold. 2, 3, 4, and 5. Breathe in. And stretch. And exhale. Shake it out a little bit. There we go. Good. All righty. Yeah, so let's just move things over to here. Okay. So yeah, welcome to the planner section of today's live stream. So this is going to be bringing things into the new year. Now, last live stream, we had, I introduced a reframing of how we can view a year, right? So ordinarily, the year that's closing out is sort of portrayed as an elderly person. And then the year coming in is seen as like a baby or a newborn. And I said to myself, I don't really want to have an elderly person sort of walking off at the end of the year, and I certainly don't want to have an infant sort of trying to run my life for the first few months, waiting until they grow up. In the teenage years, it would be like early spring, like, oh, no, don't do that. So I said instead, why don't we have like a chief executive? And they come in and they're fresh faced and they're new and they've got new ideas and they're revitalized and they're ready to go. And then, I mean, by the end of the year, they're ready to go retire and, you know, go hang out in chief executive glory. And I said, well, you know, what if that looked like a broken down break room at a local department store, and everyone's fighting to get into give advice on this one little teleconference telephone thing where it's crackly and then everyone's contradicting each other. And what if we had something like that? So that was last week. And so we're going to continue on with the idea this week, where it's the incoming, fresh-faced, cherubic, rosy-cheeked executive who's going to be taking over and maybe trying to do things a bit differently than his predecessors. So, okay. So, with that said, let's just kind of work on that that topic, that suggestion. So before we dive into it, the watchful amongst you may say, well, it's the morning of the 5th where you are, and maybe it's the evening of the 4th where you are. I mean, Celeste, it's evening of the 4th. Isn't it a little past the whole deadline thing for doing this kind of work? Shouldn't we be well on our way into like actually not doing our resolutions? And I say, let's just take a page from Douglas Adams. He is the guy who wrote Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy. And he famously said of deadlines, he said, I love deadlines. I like the whooshing sound they make as they fly by. So let's just kind of take that and just like, you know, we a little bit of an extension. It's just like, you know, extended holiday. We're still working on our bringing the stuff in. Resolutions is sort of like a first draft, but we're not going to have the resolution thing going in anymore. Okay. So I am going to share my screen. So these are some ideas that I had for developing bringing things in for the new year, for this chief executive, 2025. What do we like? So I like guidelines, no surprise there. Not resolutions, right? Resolutions, way too definite. They're like rules. I don't like them. Guidelines I can do. I like themes and directions, not firm goals. If you want firm goals, there's plenty of opportunity to have, actually, I'm going to come back over here. There's plenty of opportunity in your life to say, hey, there's a thing that I want to do, and I need to have a set goal, and I need to have set deadline, and I need to have the things that I need to do in order to get there. That's all fine, perfect, dandy, wonderful. I don't want to do that for the beginning of the year. It's 365 days. I mean, we have a long way to go. Let's just have a theme or themes, directions that we want to go. We don't want to have like set things. There's plenty of opportunity to not meet the goals that we set for ourselves. And I I personally find that disheartening if I don't meet the things that I'd like to meet. So what do? We eliminate the things that the list, right? We just sort of aim in a direction. Okay. And in terms of what we want to bring in or the things that we want to highlight, I like listing the things I'm already doing and liking. Having things that we sort of are not doing, like I intend to go to the gym every day. I mean, that one's just a fail right there, because there's going to be a day that you miss and then it's just, it dominoes. We don't want that. All we want is the things that we are already doing, or that, because those are easier. right? And it just brings up the theme. So you can kind of bring the things forward from 2024 that you want to have continue. And okay, and again, we're going to package this in terms of a fresh space going into the chief executive office, and some ideas for how we're going to address this. So keep doing the things from prior year, and the suggestion is 3 things, because 3 is a pretty simple, it's a low bar to meet for doing this. Identify what you enjoy but don't make time for, and then aim to do those things more. Okay, that's a nice direction to go. And lastly is couple habits you already do with habits you want to create. And that one is a pretty simple thing. If you would really like to journal every day, and let's say you want it to be like an evening time activity. I want to sort of summarize what my day looked like. What is it that you're already doing at night? Well, you already go to bed. Okay, so that's an easy benchmark to sort of target to. Maybe there's medications you take. Maybe there's a thing or two, like you brush your teeth or whatever. So I'm just going to say, let's say you're taking medication. Okay, we're of an age, it's likely. So you're taking your medication at night. So put the journal under the medication, right? So you take your medication, and then the journal is right there, and then you can write in it. Or even better, flip the order and do the journal first before you take your meds, and then you take your meds before you go to sleep. Okay? And so you couple things that way. And that's really what that idea is all about. All right, so at this point, excuse me. So it's at this point that you can either go in and start to maybe develop a list of things that you'd like to aim for, or find some way that you would like to bring this list of things going forward, and maybe have it in a way that you can review it from time to time, so you can see how on track am I. And it's a nice little measurement tool to see how you're doing. I have a slightly different idea, and it's going to be based on, again, what we did last week. And so here, let me just bring up the little story that I wrote, which gives a direction for where I want to take my particular list of goals and direction. So, deep breath, crack knuckles, shake things out. Let's get started. As 2025 got ready to take over from 2024, he thought about the kind of year he wanted to create. He wanted to guide things in a certain direction, but take into account that things don't always go as planned. He wanted to set things up so as to reduce stress, but still try to make this year better than last year. So the first thing he did was to write his future self a letter to be read at the end of the year so as to compare notes with what was intended against what actually happened. So I thought this was kind of a cool concept. Write your future self a letter, and list out what it is that you want to do, right? All the again, not the resolutions, but the directions, the goals. What is it that we're aiming for? And just list them out and do it in sort of a personalized type of thing, because it's a letter. Don't do it in terms of just like a bullet point list. Right, because that feels a little bit cold, a little bit medicinal in a way, if you don't mind me using that term. But having something that comes from the heart, something that comes from a spirit of intention, something that feels cherubic and fresh-faced and enthusiastic. And so that is what I'm going to prepare, and I'm going to do it in a way. I'm going to actually write this now. I've got notes, but I'm going to write it now, and I'm going to set it aside, and I'm going to make a reminder so that the last live stream of 2025, we're going to compare notes. Whoops, that way. We're going to compare notes to what it is that I'm going to be writing. And I think that's kind of an interesting take on how to do this sort of beginning of the year, and then try to hold yourself accountable to what it is that you're trying to do. I think it's an experiment. Let's just see if it works. Maybe it won't, but I think it will. Okay. With that, I am going to bring up my screen, my writing screen, and get my writing tools all settled and get all set into my chair. And here we go. Okay. Share my screen. There we go. Oh, it'd be nice if I had that out of the way. Come on. There we go. All right. So I said this is going to be a letter to my future self. So here, dear future 2025, aka me. And let's put a comma in there. So business letters use colon after the salutation, right? That's what this is, dear future. Personal letters use a comma. I'm going to use a comma because, again, I want it to be personal. I want it to feel heartfelt. Okay, so here we go. So as I ready myself to take on the coming year, that is to say my namesake. Whoops, namesake, which is 2025, right? So the namesake. I want to bring to mind and attention ideas and directions I want to highlight for the coming yeah, I want to highlight, so because we've mentioned the year before. Okay, I want to highlight. Here we go. Okay, so the first thing, so and this is not going to be in any particular order. It's just going to be as we think of it, we can notate it down. Since I'm doing it on my computer, I can go in and I can edit really easily and move things around and whatever. If you're doing this in like a journal, here, I'm going to come back to here. If you're doing this in like a journal and maybe having like a year's journal, and so the first page is sort of like your aims and your goals and your directions, your themes for the year, and then the journal itself is the compilation, or like, you know, the day-to-day or the week-to-week or however you do it, of, you know, the things that happen for you. And then at the end of the year, you can sort of do a wrap-up, right? And so you can have within this journal the events of the year and how well you maintained your direction, the intentions that you had for the beginning of the year, right? And then you can use that to guide you into next year. I think that's kind of a neat little thing. Okay, so I'm going to come back to the writing. Okay, so I am going to make mention here. So these items are in no particular order, but they are all important. Important to me. And of course they are, because otherwise we wouldn't be listening to them. We don't want to put anything in there that's extraneous or just fluff. This is stuff that we really care about. I mean, we're taking a soft touch to it, but we really want to honor what it is that we're shooting for, what we're striving for. Okay. So the first item on my list is to keep on collaborating with Alicia. I really enjoy how my creativity has blossomed. Ooh, I like this, that it guesses the right word. I really enjoy how my creativity has blossomed doing these collaborations, and look forward to seeing where my creativity goes. It goes. There we go. And actually, I'm going to make one more mention. And I want to do this work not with any creative goal or use of content. Whoops, keep hitting that equal button. Content in mind. Darn it. Content. Content in mind. There we go. But instead, for the pure enjoyment of doing the work. Apparently, I drank way too much coffee today because my fingers are just not operating right, but that's okay. Okay, so this is the first item. Keep on collaborating. What else? What else are we going to do? So I want to address as another item. I want to better react to unexpected situations, unexpected and or unpleasant situations. When I encounter a situation that is unexpected or unpleasant, I will do my best to remember my breath. And take, I'm going to scroll here real quick just to have more space, and take the time needed to breathe first before acting. The goal is to not react and instead not to react, but instead to act. So not react, but simply to act mindfully. Actually, let's put that in. To act mindfully. And when I fail to remember my breath, I will use that as an opportunity to remember my breath for the next time. There we go. So in this case, it's really easy to, like, something happens and it's just like a snap or like, something happens. It's really easy to react. So in this case, it's take those opportunities as reminders to act mindfully. Something happens, pause, move on. Right? This is a wonderful goal for me to aim for, and I hope to tell myself at the end of the year that things are going well. We shall see. Okay, back to my screen share. Okay, the next item that I want to bring up is make sure I drink more coffee. Okay. I will try to remember that music is good for my mental health. I will take the opportunities presented to play my loud, obnoxious, that's an X, obnoxious, loud, obnoxious music. Muck. Don't capitalize obnoxious music when I'm when I have the ability to take the time. So this one here, this one refers to the fact that I come downstairs a lot to cook and make coffee and do other things that are, I'm sort of down here by myself, or with the cats. Alicia tends to be upstairs, and my music is definitely to my taste, not to hers. But when I play that music, it really just, it helps me feel better. It releases I don't know, like brain chemicals or something, and it's just, it enables me to feel better. And so if I have my iTunes on my phone, so when I come downstairs, if I forget my phone, I don't get my music. And there are times that I will not bring my phone down for long stretches, like days, and I start to feel it. It builds up over time, and it's because I'm not listening to the music, which is me taking care of myself. So this thing, this item that I am going to work with is, even if I leave the bedroom and I'm starting to head down the stairs and I'm like, I forgot my phone, I will turn around, go back up, get the phone, come down so that I can play it, so that I can keep my mental health in its best shape possible. Okay. Back to sharing. Okay. Let's see now here. One last item for now. Because I can always add more to this list. Is to embrace my love of learning and of being a math and science. I'm gonna just call it geek. Nerd. Geek, nerd. Let's see now here. Where's my slash? Geek, nerd, lover. I will continue to read and share things and during these live streams, and make references to them in my writing. Sorry, I just scrolled and I didn't say anything about that. In my writing, because they are not part of what makes my experience enjoyable. There we go. And now I'm just going to toss in here. So for instance, I'm going to make mention right now. Whoops, equal sign. Make mention right now that 2025 is the sum of the cubes of the numbers 1 through 9, which I think is really cool. And okay, so that's yep, that's it for now. See ya in about a year. New 2025. Yeah, we'll just call them new 2025. Good. Okay, so I'm just going to scroll through back here and cover real quick what it is that we're looking to do. So again, it's a letter to the future self with ideas as to what I want to bring in during the current year, 2025, to keep collaborating creatively, especially with Alicia. And to do that because I enjoy the collaboration, not because I'm going to be doing something with the work that is created in the collaboration. I will keep doing stuff with it, but do the work not because of the results or the hope for the products or whatever. Do it because I enjoy doing it. I'm going to scroll. I'm going to do my best to remember my breath. And any time that I fail to remember my breath, it is going to be a reminder that I should remember my breath for the next time. And that should hopefully help me breathe through unexpected or unpleasant situations. I will remember that music is good for my mental health. And, you know, it's raucous. It is. It's definitely stuff that people may not enjoy. But I enjoy it. So I'm going to be continuing to listen to my music and keeping my mood and my mental health in a good place. And I'm going to embrace my science and math loving self because I love it. And I'm going to continue to include it in my writing, in all the things that I produce. Good. And that is the letter that I'm going to be setting aside and will be presenting at the end of the year. So let's just take a pause. Let's take a moment and I'm just going to come over here to my breathing and my stretching. And this gives me an opportunity to sort of clear my head and clear us of the writing that we just did and to get us ready for the pantser section. So let me invite you to join me in a nice deep breath in. And let's stretch. Ooh, crack it. I don't know if you could hear that, but and out we go. All right. All right. So I hope your list of goals and themes and directions was good and productive. And then if you didn't get to all of them, or it's sort of like it's a seed that's only just starting to plant now, take your time. You've got a year. I mean, be Douglas Adams. Just let that deadline just whoosh right by. So Celeste has just said that she has written some intentions of her own for this joyful new year. Well done. Well done. Yeah. So I'm hoping that it becomes something that maybe you can do every year, and so it becomes like a meaningful bringing forward of the year. Okay. So with that, let us move on to the pantser section. And I'm just going to slide my notes. Whoops, I have to be on my correct screen. Where am I? Got my notes up. There we go. Okay. So here at DX, one of the things that we really like to focus on is the holistic, supportive portion of our mission statement, I guess would be the best way to put it. I mean, at the end of the class, you're going to see, or the live stream, you're going to see the DX haiku that comes up every single time, which is it's a creative space, holistically supportive, and then please like, share, subscribe. Which, by the way, please like, share, and subscribe. but the holistically supportive. And so there is a lot of thought and activity that goes into how do we better ourselves through our creative practice. I mean, it really, I mean, creativity is not just simply for putting an image onto the page or writing words down and trying to get people to like it, you know, to get likes and whatnot. How do we better ourselves? And so in that vein, I found this article. It is in Inc. Whoops, I just moved the image. In Inc. magazine, I'm just going to bring this up real quick. There we go. Neuroscience discovered behaviourceuticals, so improve brain health and mood like a natural antidepressant. So it's in Inc. magazine. If you search for it, you can find the full article. But in essence, here's what it says. And unsurprisingly, if you engage in small activities that challenge your mind and allow you to maybe move your body while you're challenging your mind, you actually get benefits from it. So what these researchers did is they taught rats how to drive cars. I am not making this up. And they did not do this for the purpose of determining if insurance rates are fair or not, or to, like, you know, try to usurp geckos from, you know, insurance commercials. If you are familiar with the what is it, is it Aflac, with the gecko that runs around, and anyway, it's not trying to change the insurance rates. What they said instead is that, would rats enjoy driving cars? And the answer is yeah, they really got into it. So much so that in later experiments, they would present food to rats, and the rats that knew how to drive the car would actually hop into the car, drive to the food, and then eat the food, despite the fact that it would take longer to get into the car, drive the car, and then get out of the car, because you could just run across the platform or the floor or whatever they were set up. They were actually taking the time to drive the car. It was these things that this little challenge to them that brought them joy. And I know it's a little bit strange to say that rats experience joy, but they do. They have behaviors that say we are alive and we're engaged and we are having fun. Or at least so say the rat researchers. They discovered that the rats that were being challenged, they explored their environments more, that they coped better with challenges. They were, after the rats had run their useful course, they were euthanized, and they examined their brains, and the brains had more neuroplasticity and greater complexity within their cortexes. Cortexes. Cortexi? I don't know. But anyways, their brains were more developed. And so the whole idea behind it was that when you have small challenges that you're trying to overcome, that leads to greater life engagement and greater life fulfillment. And so the suggestions that are made inside the article are like, learn a new hobby, go for a hike with friends, take a new class, like a cooking class or a dancing class. And I'm going to offer up doing some writing or some drawing, being creative, where you're constantly faced with decisions. Should I draw? What should I draw? How should I draw it? Or how should I approach a certain story? How should I write it? Do I continue to work on a piece even if I'm afraid I'm going to ruin it? How do I go about all these little things? All these little problems that we're trying to solve, these are all really, really good for us. Little obstacles that we can overcome that provide us with the ability to connect with life and happiness. Because you have just all sorts of good stuff going on. You've got dopamine hits every time you achieve something, when you've created something. There is the serotonin of being able to engage overall globally with this and sharing it with friends and family and in social media. So there's all sorts of ways that we can get benefits from overcoming these little obstacles that are out there. And if your body moves, which your body does move, especially when you're drawing, your hand is moving around and whatnot. So small bodily movements. We don't have to have big bodily movements. They can be small movements, typing on the fingers or, scrolling through. They don't need to be big movements so long as our bodies are moving. Okay. And so with that idea of the Behaviourceuticals, overcoming these little challenges is just as effective and way fewer side effects than taking a pharmaceutical drug, right? Okay. So with that, I think that pretty well covers what I was looking to cover today. So we have sent a letter to our future selves that we can update from time to time and make it as a theme for the year coming. And we've talked about overcoming small obstacles and how these are now considered in the neuroscience community behaviourceuticals, right? We can actually medicate ourselves into feeling better, overcoming small obstacles. So with that, let us get ready to start closing things down. And so as I had mentioned before, and if you've been here before, you've seen this like, share, subscribe, and it comes along with our DX Haiku, which is a creative space, holistically supportive. Please like, share, subscribe. If you haven't subscribed already, please do so. It helps our channel immensely. If you enjoy what you're seeing on this live stream, please share it with family, friends, with people who you think might benefit from a little bit of creativity time, especially focused on creative writing. And at the very least, please like. It helps us immensely, all of it. If you are sharing on social media, please use the hashtag with DX Live with Parz. I do look through Instagram and Facebook for the this hashtag. So when you put stuff out there, let me know using this hashtag. You can also get a hold of us using the various odd links and things that are in our link trees. Normally, Alicia would have posted that by now, but as I said, our computer and its death dive, yeah, we're not doing that today, but it will be in the show notes. And with that, let me bring this to a close. Thank you so much for being a part of today's live stream. Thank you so much for making Drawing Expressions part of your creative journey. And I hope to see you next week. Okay, bye for now.